Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoiint, and while we all wait for GTA 6 to drop, here are the best new games releasing in September 2026 that you need to know about. And guys, this month is stacked, and I'm not joking. Whether you're looking for a new survival horror, an arcade racing game, couch co-op games, or something to swing your sword at, I've got you covered. Oh, and if you do like gaming, please drop a like and subscribe if you're new here. And first up, we've got Marvel's Wolverine, and this is easily one of my most anticipated games this month. Now, I am a huge fan of Insomniac and the Spider-Man games, so this should be great. It's already looking like a cinematic masterpiece with what we've seen so far, but this is brutal. We're talking arms and legs being torn clean off, blood everywhere, and Logan saying a big you while he does it. But if you're only here for the story, don't worry, because you can turn the gore and the profanity off in the settings if you'd prefer. Otherwise, the story starts before Logan even knows who or what he is. He's already got his healing abilities, but he's missing huge chunks of his memory. It's also set in a timeline where the X-Men don't actually exist, but there is Team X, where you'll see faces like Mystique and Sabretooth who actually fight alongside you in some missions. Oh, and this is not a big open world game, so it's going to be pretty linear with areas that you can explore, but there are motorbike chases, big boss battles, and plenty of enemies to kill. Plus, that new rage system means you can go absolutely mental. Then we've got techniques and abilities that you can unlock and equip, and a ton of suits and different claws to use. There's also these nightmare doors where you can do time trials and challenges outside of the main story. Now, I actually got to play this for a couple of hours last week in London, and I came away more hyped than when I went in. So yeah, if you're excited like I am, this drops on September 15th exclusively on the PS5. And next up, we've got Control Resonant, and this is the second game in the series by Remedy. But if you've ever played the first Control, you already know this game cannot be summed up in one paragraph, because it's weird, it's twisted, and it's gonna stick with you. But this time, we're not playing as Jessie though, because you're playing as her younger brother Dylan. And it's a third-person supernatural action RPG set in Manhattan, except this isn't quite the New York that you know. Gameplay's changed quite a bit as well, as Jessie was all about throwing stuff and blasting enemies, whereas Dylan gets the Aberrant, this weapon that changes into different forms. It's also a lot more hack and slash, which I love the look of. And unlike the first game, this one is more open, so you can explore different areas, find side stories and side quests, and then tweak your build and your abilities. Now, I think it's one of those games that if you're a fan of Remedy in general, or you enjoyed the first Control game, you're going to want to pick this one up as well on September 24th. And that's going to float onto the PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. And if you've ever enjoyed games like Dead by Daylight or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, well, we can finally play as Michael Myers in Halloween the Game. So this is a new survival horror game based around the original 1978 movie. And it's not just an online multiplayer game this time, because there's also a single player story as well. So firstly, the online mode is a 4v1 where you can either play as Michael Myers walking around Haddonfield, hiding in the shadows, picking your moment to jump out and simply terrorizing the residents. Or you can play as the survivors, repairing generators, warning the residents, searching for weapons, and trying to call the police. Now, I can imagine this one being a lot of fun with your mates late on a Friday night. But the cool thing is there's also a single player story mode as well. Now, this is based on the night of the original movie, but from Michael's perspective, including things that we never actually saw in the movie. So if you're a fan of John Carpenter or Halloween in general, this should be a proper classic game to play. This is going to be out on September 8th on PS5, Xbox Series and PC, or if you grab the deluxe edition, is out on September 4th. And next up, we're heading to a freezing, dark and moody island off the coast of Scotland in Silent Hill Townfall. And I'm loving how cinematic this game looks so far. So it's a first-person survival horror game set in 1996 where you'll be peeking around corners, hiding, listening for footsteps and deciding whether it's actually worth the risk of combat. So you play as Simon, who's just received a message calling him back to the island to sort things out. But the only issue is you've got no memory of this place, you don't recognise it, and you don't know anybody here. But in true Silent Hill style, the entire place is sitting under this thick blanket of fog. And this definitely looks like the sort of place you want to explore. So you've got this little handheld TV called the CRTV, and you can use this to scan and find clues, detect enemies, solve puzzles, and try to understand what is actually happening. It looks like there's a nice balance here of stealth and combat, so it's not just a full-on action game. I also quite like that it's set in Scotland as well, so it looks very cinematic, moody, old buildings, quite a cold vibe to it. Also, playing this in first person is going to make those noises behind you even scarier. So if you do fancy a scare, this is creeping onto the PS5 and PC on September 24th. And it's official, Dune Awakening is finally coming to the PS5 and Xbox Series this month. So this is an open world survival RPG set in Arrakis that originally launched on PC last year. So you're scavenging for materials, crafting gear, building bases and trying not to die of thirst. Oh, and those sandworms. But this game is big. You can fly across Arrakis, harvest spice, fight other players and head deep into the desert. But the great thing is this is not just a straight port to consoles, because it is getting a brand new single player mode. So it's not just an online RPG with up to 60 online players, because you can now play it single player as well. And with this new update, there are also going to be new weapons, new map locations, and new features, and hopefully a little bit more balance now on consoles. Now, as I say, this will be dropping on the PS5 and Xbox Series on September 22nd. And Hot Wheels is back this month with Infinite Rush, and instead of just those orange plastic tracks around the house, we are actually getting an open world racing game this time, and this looks awesome. So the big change this time is you can free ride and drive around the entire map just exploring, smashing into things, finding collectibles, doing jumps or finding events. And it's given me Forza Horizon vibes, but you've been shrunk down into these tiny little cars. Now there are going to be 4 islands to explore, so 1 minute you're cruising around the city streets, then you're over on a different island looking for races scattered around the map. A couple of weeks ago I actually watched the Black Panther gameplay, and do you know what? This looks like a lot of fun. There are going to be over 150 cars to collect, loads of different racing events, a track builder, there's even a 4-player split screen and up to 12 players online. I'm going to say this is definitely one of those chill but fun games to smash out this month, and that's going to race onto the PS5, Xbox Series, PC and Switch 2 on September 10th. Unless you're a baller and you go for the Ultimate Edition, and you can play that on September 7th. Then we've got the Blood of Dawnwalker, and you've got just 30 days to save your family, that's it. Now this is an open world dark fantasy action RPG made by some former Witcher 3 devs, and this one looks so good. So you play as Cohen, this young guy living in 14th century Europe who's been turned into something called a Dawnwalker. Basically, you're human during the day, a vampire at night, and you're kind of stuck somewhere between the two. Now in the story, your family gets kidnapped from this vampire lord and you're on a mission to save them. But instead of the game just giving you a long list of quests or missions to complete, and you can kind of take as long as you'd like to complete them, the game actually makes time matter. So each time you complete a mission or a quest, the clock actually moves forward, and that means choosing one quest might mean another one disappears altogether. And you need to do this all before the time actually runs out. Now during the day you are a human fighting with swords, but once the sun goes down you get your vampire powers. You can climb buildings, move differently, suck your enemies off, suck in your enemy's blood. There's even a system that if you ignore hunger too long, he will actually feed off an NPC. Now the devs reckon a playthrough will take about 50 to 70 hours, but you'll never experience everything in a single playthrough, because everything you do will slightly change the story. And this will drop on September 3rd on the PS5, Xbox Series and PC. Or if you fancy a new single-player action-adventure game, we've got Onimusha Way of the Sword. And this looks brutal, although Capcom have made this pretty clear this is not supposed to be a Souls-like game. So although it does look brutal, it's not going to be brutally difficult. They want these sword fights to feel intense without making it so painful that you're constantly thrown back to a checkpoint. So in this you play as a real-life legendary swordsman who's ended up with an Oni gauntlet stuck to his arm, which gives him these supernatural powers. He's travelling through the alternate version of Kyoto, trying to understand why the gauntlet has actually chosen him. But it's the combat that looks awesome in this game. The parrying system, blocking, deflecting attacks, and those solid sword attacks. But you can also kick enemies into walls, throw them into each other, and pick up different weapons to use. Now as I say, this does look brutal as well as fast-paced. And that's going to be out on September 4th on PS5, Xbox Series and PC. And then right at the end of the month we have Minecraft Dungeons 2. So this is a top-down version of Minecraft with less mining and more swinging a massive sword at things. Think Diablo but in the Minecraft universe. So you're smashing through huge groups of enemies, opening chests, collecting armor and upgrading your character. Oh, and you can jump now. You can finally jump. We're also getting a whole new story and a new threat this time, new enemies and also more gear options and new equipment slots too. It's like they've taken everything that was great from the first game and made this one even better. And the great thing is you can either play this solo or up to 4 players either online or couch co-op, which is always something I'm happy to see because I can never get enough of couch co-op games. So this smashes onto the PS5, Xbox Series, Switch and PC as well as Game Pass on September 29th. And then just before we go, here are a few bonus games that didn't make the top 10 today but are definitely worth an honourable mention. We've got Onimusha, which is a free-to-play open-world creature catching RPG on September 16th. Crimson Moon is a new gothic action RPG on September 1st. RuneScape Dragon Wilds gets a full release on September 15th. The 75th instalment of EA Sports FC 27 is on September 25th. And finally, Trails in the Sky second chapter, because I know this game deserves a mention too, and that drops on September 17th. Wow guys, seriously, what a month. September really is absolutely stacked with some pretty decent games. For me though, I'm looking forward to Marvel's Wolverine, Silent Hill Townfall, Halloween and Hot Wheels. But honestly, I could actually just play them all. But what about you guys? Anything you're really hyped for this month or anything that I've missed today? Now drop a nice September games in the comments and I'll give you a thumbs up for staying right till the end. And if you did enjoy today's video, check out this video next. Well, thanks for watching, please like, subscribe and follow me everywhere. Until next time.